Hi there everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the World Series of Politics. For those of you watching and thinking, my God, Brant Hayden has let himself go, my name's Robin Harrison. Brant cannot be with us this week, but I am joined by his regular co-host, Mr. Brendan Bussmann. Brendan,
Robin,
how are you?
It's great to be here. It's great to be in London. We do miss our friend and colleague, Brant Hayden, who is doing the good work of gaming policy back in the United States. I know he's in Texas. I know he's in Arizona this week. So anybody out there that can track him down, we're offering a $10,000 reward for his appearance along the way. But it's great to be here and great to be in London. And we've got a great and spectacular colleague and friend of mine with us.
It is a fantastic guest we have today. It is Mr. Matthew Cullen of betPARX. Matt, welcome to the World Series of Politics. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's good to see you both.
Excellent, thank you for joining us in the studio today. So, I was keen to start off with a bit of a look back at your career, because obviously you've worked from Betfair to Rocket Play to San Manuel to betPARX. You've had a really interesting trajectory and a lot of interesting roles. But in particular, I actually wanted to pick up on something your former colleague Brian Bennett said at one of the shows last year. He said when you were at Rocket Play working in the social casino space, it was really a case of dodging 800-pound gorillas, you know, with the Zyngas, the double downs. And how does that compare to life at betPARX, you know, working in, you know, sports betting and igaming with the DraftKings, the FanDuels?
I think it's very similar, David versus Goliath scenario like we had back in the days of Rocket Play and social casino. We're a brand in the mid-Atlantic state with a footprint across soon to be 5 states, competing against big national brands, and we're not going to outspend them. We always say that to the team, so we have to outmaneuver them, or at least attempt to. And it's been a lot of fun. It's very, very competitive. It still is. As you know, a lot of companies have fallen off and gone away. I'd expect there to be probably some more attrition as time goes on. But we're having a lot of fun trying to build this business out.
You know, one of the things I think that is not only interesting, but exciting as it relates to parks. And obviously, I go back to the days when, you know, one of the first jurisdictions I started was Pennsylvania. Racetrack that turned into predominant and one of the big players when it came to land-based. Obviously, you head up that social and online aspect. How has the company transitioned to realizing the importance of both land and mobile in its overall offering?
Well, we knew when everything got legalized that we had to be there. As the #1 brand in the state, the largest casino, arguably on the East Coast, probably the largest independent casino in the country. When it got legalized, we had to go in. We had to go in full stop. And I joined the team to set up the division. And there was a lot of education, I'll be honest. You know, we had to educate our board and our owner about the similarities and the differences between land-based versus online and mobile, and the investment necessary to compete, because it's very, very different. The dynamics are so different, as you well know. But it took some time, and we're still working at it. But you know, I think as an independent brand, we've changed our brand. We kind of moved away from the Parks brand and created our own mobile identity in betPARX. And we've really latched onto that and tried to run with it. And we're having, like I said earlier, we're having a lot of fun doing it. It doesn't come without some challenges along the way, but it's a great industry to be involved in right now. And the good thing for us, we're a private company. Our owner has very deep pockets. We have a very healthy balance sheet as a parent business and the holding company for my division. So we've definitely got some sea legs. We've got our sea legs. We've got some longevity and a long runway ahead of us.
And then as part of shifting to that betPARX identity, that's kind of ramping up the the iGaming presence? Because that's quite important to the business, isn't it? You know, the two states you're live in are both iGaming states.
Yeah.
So how do you see that developing going forward? And then how much of a sort of baptism of fire was it going into Pennsylvania, you know, with such a hefty tax on slots and in making that work?
We've been very thoughtful about our market expansion approach. To your point of just going into iGaming and sports states in New Jersey, Michigan, and PA. We're going to start now to go into a little bit of uncharted waters for us by going into Ohio next week, which is sports only, and then Maryland the week after that. And you know, our hope is we have a very healthy retail sports business and a good mobile sports betting business, but we really lean on iGaming. And our hope is by taking the approach that we've done of going into these new places, that iGaming from a legislative standpoint is going to be a fast follow. At least that's our hope. We've resisted going into sports-only states and trying to grab as big and as large of a footprint as we possibly can to be a little bit more guarded and cautious about how we expand. At the end of the day, you know, we could have just stayed in PA and focused on our home state of Pennsylvania, but we convinced our owner and our board of directors that, you know, we had the right team in place, we had the right tech in place, the right product in place, that we could go further afield, and so we're starting to do that right now.
He sort of stole my line because I'm always the tax guy. You had to bring it up, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it was going to come up anyway.
Well, you know,
it does expedite the process.
It does. You just like to tee it up and let me, you know, hit the ball. But, you know, obviously, and Robin brought this up as far as Pennsylvania with, you know, its bifurcated tax rate as relates to slots and tables.
Yeah.
As you look at expansion, obviously, talk to us about a little bit about that experience in Pennsylvania, but how much does that play as you look at potential expansion opportunities, not just with related to sports, but iGaming as that coming up, is how much does that rate and market structure make that work in a very meaningful way, as opposed to that state just on the other side of you to the north that has an exorbitant tax rate that now thinks all their money's theirs? So
You mean New York?
that would be the Empire State.
A state around there?
The state around there, yes.
Obviously, I mean, the tax rate in Pennsylvania is massive. It's big. And it is on the retail land-based side as well. So it's an environment that we've been able to thrive in on the land-based side. We're trying to replicate the same success with mobile. I think for us, you have to be much more mindful of how you spend your money, particularly around promotions and reinvestment in customers. And what I don't understand is how some of the other brands that aren't incumbents in the state like we are, really aren't very mindful of that, it seems like. They're just bonusing like mad and not being very responsible about the reinvestment in your customers, given the fact that you're giving away or having to pay the state about half of your revenue. So we take a very cautious approach around that, and you know, to the point of other states, we can't wait to operate in them because we're so battle tested operating across PA where it's so exorbitant. To go into these other states where it's, you know, low double digits, we welcome it. It's going to be fantastic.
I'd love to see lower than double digits if, you know.
Agreed. We would as well, but we're
being
realistic.
I know. These guys will attest to I'm not just the low tax guy, but the no tax guy, so.
So that is us coming to the end of our time on the first day of ICE London. And obviously, it's slightly different worlds here with politics without Brant. You know, I'm usually lurking in the background doing the recording, but it's nice. I mean, it's scary to be on this side of the camera. I've suddenly got a lot more respect for what you and Brant are doing each week in the podcast, guys. But
as I will say to everybody, because obviously we're live and we wish Brant was here, you don't want to know how the secret sauce is made. It's like the legislative process. You just hope the bill comes out on the end the way it should, and that's the way our podcasts have. But we can't thank you enough for joining us in our inaugural World Series of Politics podcast here live in London. And can't thank you enough for coming.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We'll be back very shortly.